What's up, Black Desert Mobile fans? It's legit back with another video. This video is going to cover a complete witch guide. We're going to go over the gear and accessories you want to go for. We're going to go over the skills, the relic, the lightstones, and the crystals. If this is your first time to my channel, make sure you check out the description down below for some additional badass Black Desert Mobile content. You won't be disappointed. As well as heading over to bdmbase.ru for some more readable Black Desert Mobile content. With that being said, let's dive right in. So the account that I'm going to be showing you guys is Bad Bianca. She is in my guild, in my server, and in my house. She is my other half, not my alter ego. Alright, so her account is sitting at 3619 combat power. She's sitting at 1863 AP and 1756 DP. Her black spirit level is 136 as well. So you can see she's rocking 5 oranges, she's rocking 1 yellow, and all blue accessories, +8 or and above. And she's also using a +4 blue relic, which is giving her another 37 combat power. Before we get into the gear, let's talk about the stats you want to focus on. She's currently sitting at 26.77% crit. She does have a horse that gives her 3% crit, so she could be, at 29.77, which is right there. She's sitting at 156% crit damage, 19.27% attack speed, and then 7.83% movement speed. Her branch damage is 32% all, 30% Serret, 11 Labreve, and 22% Ahib. The stats you want to focus on first is crit, attack speed, and then movement speed. So in order, the stats you want to focus on is first crit chance, after that attack speed, after that movement speed. After movement speed, you want to focus on mana, just increasing your overall base mana over MP regeneration. So mana is more important than MP regeneration. So branch damages add additional damage depending on which one you focus on. All increases the skill damage, Serret increases the number of targets, Ahib increases extra damage, and Labreve increases skill crit chance. For a witch, Serret is a great option because they have a lot of AoE skills and it's great for farming. AAL is always the best branch damage, period, for whether you want to do damage in PvP or PvE. So the priority should always be AAL. After AAL, you can get away with Serret and Ahib. The trick is if your crit damage is above 170%, so hers is currently at 156%, but if her crit damage goes to above 170%, Labreve is actually better than Ahib then, and then you want to switch your branch damage from Ahib to Labreve. Then the focus is going to be AAL, Labreve, and Serret damages for maximum on the branch damages. So let's talk about her gear. She does have 5 oranges. I know she's picked up 3 or 4 of those oranges and then purchased another one from the market. She is rocking the Ultimate Colossus staff. It is a 1-slot staff. She does have the +6 attack crystal in there with AAL branch damage, which is giving her attack and crit. Her dagger is the 2-slot dagger. She does have that crit and movement speed. The gem she has in there is +8 attack on both, and then the Serret damage and Ahib damage, so those are very nice. Her helmet is a 1-slot helmet. It is rocking a +8 attack and Ahib damage, and it is the 4% crit helmet. Her chest piece is MP regen, the ultimate Morig armor, and it has the +7 attack and AAL damage in there as well. The boots, she's sitting with the Shamir boots, which give -2% movement speed, but it gives a lot more DP. I believe these are ones that she just found from killing mobs, so she kept them because they were better than the ones that she had. And she has a +8 attack crystal on there and an AAL damage on that one as well. And then her gloves, she's using the Ultimate Colossus gloves as well, which is 4% attack speed, and she's rocking the +6 attack and AAL branch damage on there as well. This is by all means not the M game build. This is just what she's rocking currently. So the gear that you want to go for on a witch, aside from the red gear, which is always the gear that you want to go for, the first option would be the Ultimate Laverto staff, which is the best staff aside from the red ones. It gives 5% crit and it gives a lot more AP than any other staff at 95. The second best option in my opinion is the Ultimate Uria staff. That's giving you 2% crit and 3% attack speed. It is sitting at 80 AP as well. So if you can't afford the Ultimate Laverto, go for the Ultimate Uria staff. So the next upgrade that she's going to go for is either the Uria or the Laverto, unless she gets wicked lucky with one of the red ones. For the sub weapon, the best option is the Ultimate Rosar dagger, which is giving you 3% crit and 3% movement speed. After the Razar, I like the Ultimate Bronze Dagger, which is giving you 3 crit and 3 attack speed as well. For the helmet, Ultimate Gruntle is always going to be the best, most expensive option for 2 slots for helmets for any armor. That is your best option aside from the red as well. After that, I would go for the Xerath for the Witch, which is giving you 4% crit because she's right at that cusp of being maxed on 4% crit, and you don't want to you don't want to be under the cap by too much if possible. So the Ultimate Xerath, the only difference between these 2 helmets is 2 slots down there. So you definitely want to make sure you go for that if you can. It does cost more, obviously. Same thing holds true for the armor, Ultimate Gruntle. If not, go for the Ultimate Xerath. For the gloves, same thing, Ultimate Gruntle. After that, the Xerath, which is giving you the same equivalent attack speed, but 2 slots. And the same thing holds true for the shoes. If you can't go for orange in any of this gear, I strongly recommend going for the standard Gruntle shoes, which is your 2-slot piece of gear for yellows. And then for your main hand weapon, you're going to want to go for the Laverto staff and the Rosar daggers for yellows if you can't afford oranges. So that's the gear that she currently has, and that's the gear that she's going for. The accessories that she currently has is the Millet ring, which is giving her HP and attack speed. She has the Dorth necklace, which is giving her attack speed and movement speed. She has the Morbin belt, which is crit chance and attack speed. She has the Morbin earrings, crit chance and attack speed as well. And then the Yorkvin bracelet, which is crit and movement speed. So what's great about the blue and green's accessories is they give you more flexibility as far as your substats like attack speed, crit chance, and movement speed. They're also giving her a lot more branch damage. She's getting another 6% branch damage from having the +8 on those accessories. So I know a lot of people are out there like yellow accessories is where it's at. And I'll say this. If you have 4 or more yellow accessories, maybe 5, even 5, it is definitely going to give you more combat power. I mean, I'm talking between 30 and 50 more combat power. So the name of the game is combat power. However, you are going to lose branch damage. Now, she is sitting at 32 and 30, and she has a lot of branch damage, and she's only going to go down 6%, so she's still going to be at 27% all and 23% Serret, so she's still going to be at decent numbers, but her combat power, she's going to go from 3619 to, 3660 if possible. That is obviously a lot more black pearls. So let's talk about what accessories to go for. But before we get into which ones to go for, I wanted to talk about that accessory resonance that I talked about earlier. If you have orange accessories, obviously they're the best. Aside from those, yellow accessories always go in order of this. The top accessory, so for in this example, the red core ring, is always going to give HP 200, attack speed 2.5%, and MP regen +2. So that's a very nice accessory or ring, except for it doesn't give you that crit. The Manos Ruby ring is always giving you 2.5% crit, HP of 100, and 2% movement speed. And the Nerte ring is always going to give crit chance of 3% and HP of 300. The same thing holds true when you go to the necklace. The top one's going to give the same, Scarla and Nerte. So it's always going to give you the same 3 choices of whichever accessory you want to go for. Doesn't matter which slot it's in. Okay. So with that being said, you can really combo these up any way you want. I can't sit here and say this is the exact ones to go for you, because if you have a little bit different of a setup, you might be missing attack speed or you might be missing crit. So if you're missing attack speed, obviously you want to go for the Mancha Charm Bracelet. If you're missing movement speed and crit, you're going to want to go for the Blue Scale Bracelet. If you just want a lot of crit, you're going to want to go for the Gargoyle Bracelet, which is also giving HP. I do like the Mancha Charm Bracelets because it does also give MP regen, which for witches is great. But again, you don't want to make sure you don't want to lose out on making sure you're capped on crit. That's most important. Make sure you always stay capped on crit. After that, then you can play with the substats. Let's talk about crystals real quick. Most of her crystals have attack on them. You do want to focus on attack on your crystals. Obviously, attack before defense. You do want to get combat power on the crystals. So if you can't get attack, go for defense. Don't go for movement or crit if you can. Try to get your combat power. As far as substats, she does have the substats, branch damage, AL, AHIB, AL, 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 and AL. So she's really focusing on all and Serret on her crystals. As far as her Lightstone, she's currently rocking the +6 attack and crit damage on the top left Lightstone. That is a very, very nice Lightstone. Her top right Lightstone is +5 attack or defense and AL branch damage. It's pretty nice. Bottom right is just a ton of Serret damage. That's great for farming. And then the bottom left one is Serret and AAL branch damage as well. If you can, optimally the best option would be to get crit hit damage on your Lightstones. The reason for that is Lightstone is the only place you can get extra critical damage. So if you want to maximize that as much as possible, optimally you'd love to have, two slots of crit hit damage on one Lightstone times all 4 of your Lightstones for maximum crit hit damage. Well, that is something you're going to have to work for, though. If you can't get crit hit damage, then you're going to want to go for plus combat power, attack being priority over defense. All right, let's talk about skills and which branch damages she uses for each skill. The first skill that has branch damage tied to it is Frigid Fog. She does use AAL branch damage on that. The next one is Lightning Storm. She uses AAL on that over Serret. Now, if she's farming, she does switch that to Serret for grinding. Frozen Orb. She does use AHIB over Labrie for that, but again, once you get your critical hit damage to above 170, you're going to want to swap that. For Lightning Chain, she does have Serret over AHIB for farming, AHIB if you're going to do 1v1s or arenas. And then for the last one, Meteor Shower, she is rocking Serret over AHIB for the same reason. Again, if you're in arenas or group PvP, you're going to want to switch that to AHIB. So let's talk about her skill setup. So in her first slot, here's her PvP setup, and that's the skills that she uses. She does have her Healing Aura. She does have her Time Warp so she can speed up at the beginning. She does have her ultimate in there. Her big one, Meteor Shower, which a lot of witches like to use at the beginning. Her second setup is her PvE grinding setup, AFK farming setup, killing mobs, boss rushes, anything like that. And then her third setup is her Node War setup, Guild War setup. So I'm going to go through these real quick. I'll go through the arena one and the AFK farming one real quick for you. So the skills that she uses for arenas, and again, everybody's slightly different. I've seen a couple different builds out there. She does use Frigid Fog, which gives super armor and freezes on hit. She does use Lightning Storm, which grants super armor and inflicts stun on hit. She does use Thunderbolt, which is invincible and inflicts bind on hit. She does have her healing spell. Magical Embrace, which does bind on hit. Lightning Chain, which stuns on first hit. Time Warp, like I said, and then the heavy hitting ability. So there is a lot of stuns and a lot of invincibility, super armor for the witch. You want to make sure you take advantage of those. Her second skill setup is her AFK grinding setup. She does use this for world boss as well as guild rushes and boss rushes. Again, you do want to make sure you switch the ones that are AHIB to Serret if you're AFK farm grinding. Otherwise, keep them on AHIB for those skills. The first skill that she uses is Fireball. It does have knockback on the first hit, and it does do damage over time, and it does have 4 hits. Frigid Fog, for the same reason, super armor. Storm of Magic, it does have 2 hits, and it does inflict stun. Lightning Storm, Healing Aura, Magical Embrace. Lightning Chain does get added to the mix here because it does maximum of 5 hits, does inflict stun as well. Her third setup is her Node War Guild War setup. It is relatively the same. One of the differences is Entangle. It does reduce the target's movement speed, and it does deal damage over time as well. She does have Thunderbolt in there, and the rest are about the same. So that's the skills, and that's her skill setup that she uses for Arena, for PvE grinding, and for Node Wars. That covers everything on the Witch Guide. We went over the gear that she has, the gear that she's going for, the accessories she has, the accessories she's going for, her skill setup for PvE and PvP, as well as her crystals and lightstones. I hope that helps you guys out. If you found this video helpful, make sure you smash that like button, as well as if you're new, think about subscribe. With that being said, I will see you next time.